Good morning once again, volleyball fans, and welcome to the 2024 AVP Chicago Open. I'm Robin Sparrow with Megan Bergdorf on the call here courtside. We're 3 matches in here on court number 1 in our Bally live stream, and the pattern holds true. We've had three-set tie breaks already with our 4th match on the court here between our number 11 seed, Hagen Smith and Logan Weber, facing the number 6 seed, Phil Dalhausser and Avery Drost. Megan, what are your thoughts on our matchup here as we jump into Chicago?
I mean, this is going to be a pretty epic battle. We have two similar teams, two tall blockers, two awesome, savvy, fierce defenders. They've battled each other 3 times already head-to-head in the last year, with Dalhausser Drost taking 2 of the 3 victories, the latest being in Huntington Beach earlier this year. So I think it's going to be a battle. I mean, Phil is very experienced, one of the greatest of all times, coming in as a monster block. But then you have Hagen and Logan, who've been playing together, dominating the World Tour, the Pro Beach Tour, all over the country, playing in futures events, challenge events, Norseca's, Pan Am Games. They've put in a lot of time together, so their chemistry is extremely strong and extremely tight together. So I think it's going to be a very similar battle on each side. Who can have the fewest errors is going to win this match.
What's amazing is this is officially Phil's 300th Pro Beach volleyball event. He's had 163 AVP events, 132 FIVBs, 3 NVLs, 1 Parks and Recreation event, and 1 Norseca event. 300 professional matches for the legend.
It's such an accomplishment, and that's why he's the GOAT.
And he is the long arm of the law, and this should be a good matchup between he and Logan Weber, because Logan Weber has been kind of the hot guy on the block this season so far in the AVP.
Yeah, and both of these teams are chasing that spot to qualify for the AVP League this year. They're both just under the provisional cut mark. Phil and Avery a little bit ahead of Hagen and Logan, so it's going to be a pretty epic battle here.
Hagen Smith starts off with serve, really aggressive serve right out of the gate. Drost swings away and pops the cap in the corner immediately.
That's a really nice swing, establishing that sharp sideline for Avery. Looking to come out and move that defender, hold him around. It's a nice opening swing for him.
Avery, the 6'5" defender from Redlands and now Redondo Beach, California, went to Westmont College. Ball's passed by Weber, and Hagen Smith showing off his 2-ball game.
And I like that 2-ball attack, ripping it down the middle. You're avoiding the block of Phil, and Avery's already camped out in the pocket. Maybe a tiny bit early on that, but nice movement there.
He's got the animal print vibe, as someone has noticed in the chat room. Watching plays, I can't get your handle, but that's hilarious. It is hilarious as you see Phil go wrist away on that ball.
It's not often you see Phil fading away out of an attack there, so I wonder if the wind's starting to pick up just ever so slightly at Oak Street Beach.
2-serving 1, you're looking at Phil. Just call him Phil because everyone knows who Phil is. And if you don't, BVB info. Going wrist away in the serve of Weber. And another 2-ball by Hagen.
Again, strategic. We saw this in earlier matches from Phil Dalhausser's serve. It's the longest distance and slowest time for him to get to the net to be a blocker. I would assume that we're going to see that on 2 often when Phil is serving.
2-serving a 2. Smith ripping it towards Drost. Saved by Phil as he fishes it out of the net. Phil gets up and swings away, dug up and over, and Avery lets it wisely fall out of play.
Nice recover and super chill contacts, long and slow from Phil and Avery. I like that Hagen's ready with his long extended arms. Just a little bit too much on that one.
Reserve it too. Avery Drost back to serve. Cracks it over towards Weber. Out of system play, bumps that to the left side, and Logan takes a rip. Gets it inside the end line.
pass in system set. Very, very technically sound from Hagen Smith here. He's completely facing the antenna and his partner. Lifts it up with a nice low, long platform. Easy for Logan Weber to see and connect on that ball.
Nick the nylon on the end line. And that attack by Logan Weber. 3 serving to 3. Phil rips it off the late block of Weber. 4-3 on the turn.
You can see Phil trying to pull it back line there. Weber's block set up quite inside, going for that diving block, but maybe too far on that dive setup.
Good job over there, Phil.
When you are that blocker and your defender's camping in that angle pocket, you must defend the line so that ball cannot cross between your hand and that antenna.
6'9", Phil Dalhausser back to serve from Baden, Switzerland, and Orlando, Florida.
Outside.
Overpass and taken out the trash is Phil Dalhausser.
I mean, he got there fast this time. There was no on-two, and I like your little Freudian slip. Switzerland, it's kind of like Florida and Switzerland together. Good job, Rob.
Hey, Phil.
What a bounce from Phil.
Phil back to serve again, up 4-3.
Come on.
This serve goes into the net, tying it up at 4s.
Phil looking a little squirrely to me today. Feet to ball kind of moving in the air. Not sure if that wind is truly playing a factor and picking up in gusts there.
Hagen Smith back to serve, a 6-foot defender from Pacific Palisades in Santa Monica, California. The former UCLA Bruin. Phil
Let's go.
with the inside soft top roller. Looks like misses wide, is wide. Let's watch a replay. Falls out of play. Three serving 4. Drost dives into that corner for that pass. Plays pinball off the Weber block. Free ball coming if they can get it over. Phil steps in.
No, let's go.
2-ball attack. We got a net violation on Weber trying to put a block up.
Play. First of all, Avery Drost, a perfect pass on the sideline, lays out, lifted pass, nicely recovered over here. And then to have that ball skim off those blockers' hand, picking up a well-deserved point. Absolutely fantastic play by all 4 of these. Well done to Avery for putting it away.
5 serving to 4. Avery's best AVP finish was second 2 times in Atlantic City and Huntington Beach.
Line.
Weber goes to the soft knuckler by the block of Phil.
And
6-6.
Logan has found that shot now, and I would assume that he's going to bring that out. Really nice job by Logan. He comes in hard, fast, just like he's going to rip the ball, but it actually just stops that motion on that hand, trickling over the block. We may see that again a few times here from Logan.
Yes!
Phil's option ball gets stuffed at the net by Weber, and Weber just a quick jumper, but staying at 6'8" also helps.
Yeah, just off the fingertips there. And again, the same strategy, target that server, the blocking server, running up. Can you catch them off guard for an easy point on 2? It's a nice block by Logan Weber.
Weber serves short to Phil. Drost hits it off the block of Weber. Phil dug by Hagen, but it's an over dig, and Phil again 1 times it for the winner.
Like a one-man band out there. He's doing it all.
Is Hagen asking Phil if he netted on that one? When they crossed the net, he said something to him. 7 serving 7. Hagen's still having a discussion with the R1.
He had a nice one-arm dig. I'm not really sure if he thought it was open hand contact. I don't know what he's having a conversation about.
Well, after 300 matches, I think Phil knows the rules. Picked up by Drost. Phil takes a swing, but it's blocked by Weber. Drost now rolls it, diving. Saved by Smith. Smith puts it away. Welcome to the highlight zone.
Wow, that is an absolute hammer. Open net there. Great play. First of all, great play defensively by Hagen Smith. An even better setup there by Logan Weber. Finding that ball coming over his head. That's not easy to do. What an amazing play.
Well, actually, Avery dug it for the kill, the dig to kill, apparently. And we. So it's 8-7.
Oh my goodness, we did.
It was a great swing by Hagen,
Avery.
but a dig to kill for Avery.
Way to just throw something up there, Aves.
They definitely don't want to pull on Hagen. He takes a rip. Hagen goes for the longest angle on the court, but still misses a little bit long.
I like that service pressure, though. That's an okay area. You're really challenging that middle deep. It's only missing out a foot or two. If you serve any easier, it's past set kill anyway. So I like that they're putting pressure on. You know, maybe the next one's a little bit closer. You have to make that serve receiver thing.
Drost goes over towards Smith, and Weber goes over on 2. Zigged when he should have zagged was Avery playing defense because Phil deflected it, and Avery got the read on it. Made that move to step towards the left, and it went right.
Yeah, you could see Phil's little reaction there. Maybe he shouldn't have dove or dived right into that block last minute. Took that clean touch away from Avery.
Avery sets the high ball to Phil, and Logan clamps down on Phil.
So they're serving Phil more on the inside, keeping him in the middle, making that range of block motion a lot smaller for Logan Weber to successfully get his feet loaded and press. The more that Avery and Phil run to the pins, the farther Logan has to go, the more variance and hesitation you might have.
Good pass by Phil off the tough serve by Weber. Smith tries to get a diving scoop but unable to control it. Phil just looping it over the block.
Yeah, Phil executes that so well. I mean, he's standing at 6'9", is it? Going so high over an even taller Logan Weber. He makes it look effortless, and it's traveling to the sand super fast. Hagen's a very dynamic defender, and he's unable to track that down.
Phil back to the service line. Going for that aggressive serve down the line. Good pass by Smith. Weber knocks it down on 2. Phil gets another chance, swings away. Dug by Logan, who pulls off the block. And great ball by Weber as he knocks it down the line. 11-10 on the switch and media timeout, or technical timeout. Ball misses long.
That looked long, yeah. So I think we've seen in this opening a few side switches that both Phil and Logan are being worked a little bit. They both have a really nice high liner over the block shot on each of them. So that's going to feature, I think, as this #1 set kind of pushes through. Defenders are doing a really good job. They're working. It's going to come down to, can they pick up a service ace? Can those blockers still stay big? Again, getting a dig, transition that into the kill, but also offensively. I kind of said when we started this matchup, both teams look very similar and they both play pretty traditional. The on-two is something offensively that has come out on both sides. I think it'll continue to feature, especially when the blocker's on the service line. However, we're not seeing as much spread or tempo, specifically with Avery and Phil there. They run a pretty traditional straight up and down, nice high set, kind of in the middle. Maybe we'll see something move coming out of this a little bit to pick up an extra point or two.
You know, our fellow commentator dropped some factoids in our chat. Said that Hagen Smith's dad, if you don't know who that is, that would be St. John Smith, won Chicago 4 times with Randy Stoklos, the king of the Kong block, 86, 87, 89, and 90.
And I think Trevor Crabb is trying to make a run at winning his 4th time in Chicago.
That is correct. Tough serve delivered by Phil, pass by Hagen. Hagen rolls it high line. 11-11.
Great swing, Hagen.
That's a nice sell by Hagen, keeping his hips locked, looking like he's keeping that same tempo to rip it at Avery, and just finishes that really nice high arm and contact down that line over Phil.
Got Hagen Smith back to serve, all tied up at 11s. Kind of gone away from hitting that 2-ball with Hagen. As Phil goes to his 2-ball off the pass from Drost.
And it's still, you know, I've talked to a lot of the guys on the Olympic field, on the Pro Beach Tour, and then the AVP Tour. And a lot of them are choosing to give it their best attempt defending the on-2. And if they get the point, great job. The risks and the errors are a lot greater defending the on-2. So you'll see them make an attempt to it and also not lose their cool if they're not making that defensive play.
Broken play, but still swinging away is Logan Weber, and he gets the equipment-aided kill or the tapeworm.
Way to use, Logie.
12-12. The Trickler winner ties it up here in our first set. Fourth match of the day here on Court 1 in our AVP Chicago Open, courtesy of Bally Live. Phil easily over the top.
It's a nice shot by Phil, running out of the middle. Again, some nice offensive variety, still the high up and down, but moving that blocker and that defender. You saw Hagen stick in that corner. Working on that defensive pattern of flipping the hips and sprinting, but that ball traveled too fast to the ground.
Dalhausser back to serve. Up 13-12, goes into the net. Really consistent server. Kind of shocked when he does actually get service errors.
And usually he misses long rather than in the net.
And for Phil, that's actually service error number 3 for the match, or for the set and match. Serving 13. Smith blending in there with the crowd in the end line. Drost pass to net. Drost now on the attack. Blocked by Weber. Weber tries to block Phil, but Phil easily thumb down winner.
Let's talk about how solid Avery Drost's passing is to that sideline. He is defending that line really well. They're working Phil, serving down the middle, putting pressure on him, but then they're dropping 1 or 2 here and there to Avery's sideline, and he is passing them beautifully. Nice recovery there, and another nice setup out of the middle for Phil to put away.
14-14 at the turn. Eye-catching stat. Avery hitting .556, 5 kills, 0 errors for the match.
Come on.
Avery knocks that one into the net, giving Smith and Weber the 15-14 lead. Weber, the 6'7" blocker from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Cincinnati Christian College. His 8th season on the AVP. He's played in 40 events. Best finish was a first in Virginia Beach in 2023. Drost winds up and swings and gets the Trickler winner, 15-15.
See a little bit of a lack of discipline press there from Logan. Goes really big, and that right hand doesn't go hand to ball. Stays a little bit high, getting a little nick there from Avery's ball.
Dalhausser back to serve again. Coming off a service there the last go around. Let's see if he can deliver. Tight one into the seam to Smith. And Smith drills it out of the right side.
I really like Hagen Smith change of direction on his step close there. He comes in hard and fast, and at the very last second you'll see he'll take a side boom boom to the right, opening up a bigger and sharper angle that he can swing and execute inside of Phil's block.
Smith, a 6'0" defender from Pacific Palisades, grazes the cable. Drost goes off speed. Finds the sand and tied up at 16s.
Avery and Phil looking like they're playing very smooth and very in system together. I like this performance starting out in set number 1.
Drost back to serve the 6'5" defender. Taking his time, and he delivers on that spin, picked up by Hagen off the cable. And swat control action by Phil.
What a Kong block by Phil Dalhausser. He's huge.
Swatting flies, just hanging. That's getting posterized right there.
But him and, for me, Jake Gibb have such discipline on matching the timing of the hitter and the contact of the ball. Maybe it's because of their height, maybe it's their years of experience, probably all of the above, but it's so beautifully executed.
Weber takes a rip on the second ball. He's dug by Drost, and then Weber blocks Phil's attempted 2-ball attack. Great play by Weber, just outreaching.
It's hard for Phil because his total chest and vision is actually at his partner instead of his opponent, so not being able to see that block lineup, and on a tall blocker like Logan Weber, you can't take that chance.
Service goes into the net, 18-17, advantage Smith-Weber on the turn. Love seeing the comment board. Classic Phil, Phil doing Phil things. As Phil now steps back to serve. Former Olympian.
Lots of Olympians here in Chicago, which is super exciting.
3 countries represented. Obviously, USA, Canada, and Brazil.
Yeah.
Between Kame, Schalk, and Brandy, and Melissa. And you have all the American. Oh, and of course, Allison as Hagen. 2-ball termination time for Smith.
So dynamic. He just skies as unleashes on the ball. Really nice technique. And here's the thing about Hagen, because he's coming in, he can jump set, but he has his hips already facing to that back corner. So he has the ability to completely unload or the ability to jump set his partner. So it's a really tricky play, a very smart play by Hagen Smith to have.
Service error makes it 19-18. Drost back to the service line. Test Weber, and Hagen goes over on 2. Looks like misses long.
I like it. I think the passing's getting a little too tight from Logan Weber there. I think Phil dialed in Hagen's route and path there very well, and that's why you see that hitting error come out from Hagen.
Makes it set point, serving at 18 for Phil and Avery. Weber gets up on the attack. Good read by Avery. Avery cross-court rip, and fishing out of the net is Weber. And looks like we've got the set winner put away by Avery Drost, as Avery and Phil take the first 21-19 and lead Hagen and Logan 1-0, 21-19. Megan, we get your thoughts on our first set in our 4th match of the day here on Court 1.
Like I said in the beginning, they're playing very similar. They're very even match teams. I think Avery and Phil look a little bit more poised, collected, and in system. I think Hagen and Logan are very dynamic. I think they started to realize, like, even Logan getting the spread out there, Hagen working on the inside, dropping in some on-twos to relieve pressure from his partner on the serve receive. They're all very good things. I think as long as Hagen and Hagen and Logan continue to have good service pressure. There were a lot of service errors, 3 from that team, 4 from Dalhausser Drost. Yes, we need to see a little bit of service pressure, but we saw a lot of serves go in the net. Those aren't good errors. The ones that miss out of bounds 1 or 2 feet, great errors. Offensively, Smith and Weber were at a 368. On the other side, Dalhausser and Drost 500. So offensively, a little bit more proficient, and that's a little bit of the difference that's needed. Also, Drost and Dalhausser had 4 digs, while Smith and Weber only had 2. So those are some pretty big stats and differences when we're talking at this top 16 team level.
Looking at this matchup here and the notes that we've received about the Chicago AVP is that it seems the older athletes seem to have the edge here playing in Chicago, and not as many youngsters have been taking the crown, so to speak. And only twice has a player in the 20s won the AVP Chicago Open.
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, why is that? But also a lot of kids go to college. So there's a lot of, movement back into indoor volleyball and back into college seasons.
Dropping that first shot in the corner is Phil Dalhausser. Just chopping it across his body, seeing that block of Logan Weber. One serving to 0 as Drost steps back to the service line.
Go.
Weber high pass in the middle. And Weber knocks it off of Drost.
Nice.
Defensively, that's what Phil and Avery wanted to do, but they just couldn't pop the ball.
Yeah, nice strategy there by them. Obviously, got to be ready for that hit, but I do like that a lot. And Dalhausser and Drost are currently sitting in, I believe, 9th spot out of the top 8 in contention for that league placement. So very important tournament for them to secure their berth into the AVP League this fall. Sitting at 10th is Weber and Smith.
See that net violation on Weber. A tight race for that final spot with the Olympians of Chase Bunninger and Miles Evans, if the league were to start today, sitting in that 8th spot. Weber's knuckler picked up by Avery. Avery tooling the block of Weber and knocking off his hat, doing so.
And that's the difference here in this opening matchup for Phil and Avery. Avery is playing very cool, calm, collected, and proficient. He's passing dimes. He's setting great balls. He's executing and terminating shots. And that's what he needs to do, especially when the pressure's on Phil.
Bad pass saved by Smith. Great dig by Avery. Avery sneaks it by the block of Weber.
And again, not a pretty dig. Not a pretty dig at all. He just gets it up and his partner gives him something beautiful to hit and he does his duty. And that's a huge point for Avery Drost.
4 serving to 1 here in set number 2. Let's see if Smith and Weber take advantage of this 2-ball, because Phil's been serving that hybrid and they've been knocking it over on the second ball. Nope. Weber up and out of play. I thought maybe there could have been a touch. Battle of the big boys at the outside, 5-1. Got a timeout taken by Weber and Smith. Oh, hit the antenna. So I believe that timeout makes it 5-1 with the team of Avery and Phil leading the team of Hagen and Logan.
Yeah, so Avery and Phil, they made their duo debut in Huntington Beach last year in 2023. They finished 5th in each of their first 4 AVP events together, which is great. But then they placed 3rd in Chicago last year. So this is their place. This is their jam zone. And they placed 7th in both events this year in the Heritage Series.
Well, here's an interesting stat line. Avery, 10 kills, 0 errors, hitting .714. It's the Avery show right now so far in this match.
And to me, that's the difference in this team going from 3rd to 2nd to 1st. That's the glue that they need. You don't have to play perfect volleyball. You just have to make the ball hit the open sand. And Avery's done a really good job in very difficult situations, and he has passed extremely well.
On top of that, he's got 4 digs to add to the stat column as well. These teams make their way back on the court. You have the team of Phil and Avery up 5-1 in our second set, trying to close it out in a straight set sweep, which we have not seen on our court so far this morning.
Yeah, and again, these two teams have faced off 3 times in the last year. Dalhausser Drost taking 2 of them in Huntington Beach this year and Atlanta last year, and Smith and Weber winning the Manhattan Beach Open in 2023, that head-to-head matchup. All of those were in 2 sets.
For the 2024 season, Avery and Phil have got 7ths at Huntington Beach and Manhattan Beach. So they're hoping to improve their best in 2024. About ready to get started out of that timeout after a long pause. Seemed like an extended timeout. And an ace right out of the timeout by Phil, just working Logan right in area 5.
And if I'm Dalhausser and Drost, I would stick on Logan Weber right now. He's just a little bit off, just a little bit, making a few errors or, off touches just enough that it's giving that little bit of a break.
6 serving to 1, 6-9 Dalhausser. Goes off the tape, pass by Smith. Smith gets up on the attack and aggressively swings away. I believe it misses long. 8-1. Really long, apparently.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to see sometimes from this angle just how long that is going and traveling on the other side. I like the aerial, the back of the court view. It helps to clarify that.
Ace looked like a good serve for Phil, but I guess it misses a little long. 2 serving to 7.
Still a really nice serve. It's not bouncing that far out of bounds. It has pace. It makes the serve receiver think, is that in? Is it out? And darn, that's pretty close. Even though it's out, I'm going to have to respect that same serve.
And that serve misses long. Tit for tat. 8-2. Smith and Weber played in 2 AVP Heritage events, placing 9th in both of them, Huntington and Manhattan. Trying to better their best finish in 2024. And Phil shutting the door up top.
I love that block. You can see he's so stacked going up in the air and then dynamically move those hands right into it. Even that motion after that block contact happens. The set might be a little tight with a Phil Dalhausser block. We saw that earlier with Ali Sun as well. You have to keep that set about 3 feet off so that hitter can really work around.
Smith steps in on the pass and is able to get it by Phil. You got to hit that low because that thing hit the cable and Phil was up high on that block. You see in our replay. Found that window and used the cable to his advantage. 3 serving to 9. Weber hits it over towards Drost. Phil on 2 and he pokes it through.
And again, that's how good Avery's passing is. Teeing it up. Yes, the joust is there.
Clamped down by Logan. Apologize for that missed call. 9-4. 4 serving 9.
Again.
Off the block, touch and go by Weber. Knocked down by Smith. Drost will get a chance on the attack. Goes and knocks off the hat of Weber again.
Logan almost too tall up there. Nice movement again. Pressure was on Avery to really deliver and make sure that point happened, and he's doing a great job.
We tried to do a spread block on Avery with his forehead above the net.
Yeah, and you saw, the guys will do that, the big monster spread block taking up both angles. But you'll watch Phil. He's so talented and disciplined. He stays totally stacked. Jacob did this too, going straight up first before being dynamic and making that move of those arms.
You got it.
Smith sets a high ball to the right side, knocks it off of Phil. Big, powerful swing by Logan Weber.
And Logan needed that. He's got to get back into the rhythm of this game here for them to have a good chance in the set number 2.
Smith, a 6-footer from Pacific Palisades. Serving the side, trailing 5-10. That serve had a tail on it. Drost. Bad pass saved by Phil. Weber over on 2. Drost on the attack. Swinging away is Drost. Looks like he's denied up top by Weber.
Logan did a nice job there. Again, being a bit more stacked in those hands, going dynamically to hands to ball, rather than staying open and spread.
Smith serving it up. 6-10. Good pass by Avery. Avery going high hands off the block.
And Phil, I mean, we noticed Phil for blocking, for everything else. He could be the world's best setter as well. And he just delivers a clean, really nice ball, great lifted apex, and Avery just steps in and puts it away.
Avery testing out Hagen. Bad pass saved by Weber. He swings away nonetheless, pulling his Phil. Gets the overhand dig. Hagen knuckles it in the deep corner. Great play for Weber and Smith. Just looped it over Avery, who had blocking duties, being closest to the net.
And way to go, Hagen, taking advantage of the change of block. Going on 2, changing up that offensive variety, relieving pressure from Logan.
And ripping it by the block is Avery Drost. Big, powerful swing by Avery, aggressively taking on the block of Logan Weber.
That's just a really, really nice swing by Avery. Actually, he opened up this match with a very similar swing like that. You see Logan trying to be a dynamic blocker up there, diving into that line. But it was too late. Avery already had his hand on ball.
Real tough serve. Could be an ace. No, saved by Weber. Free ball. Phil takes it high. It's off the net. Stepping in is Phil. He goes thumb down. Rips it down the line. 13-7.
It's a nice set by Avery, moving out of the way. Little off-tempo shot, but really nice placement.
Phil and Avery up 13-7 as he goes back to the service line. Hagen to the left pin. Hagen takes a rip anyways, and 10 fingers of Phil says that ain't going anywhere. Huge block by Phil.
And you can
big swing.
You can see in Phil's blocking motion there, he has that little bit of a deep load, but his arms, they're accelerating so fast to ball. So he can be just a hair late and going up in that block matchup and really quickly accelerating those hands to ball. And that's where you see that nice block come out from Phil.
The commanding lead for Phil and Avery, up 14-7 at the technical timeout. What do Smith and Weber need to do to get back into this, Megan?
I mean, they need to definitely take care of serve, receive, pass, set, side out. That has to be priority 1. When they're serving, keep putting the pressure on. I think they've done a good job maybe serving down the middle. I think Hagen's ripping some serves. They made a few service errors earlier on, not so much anymore. Offensive variety, possibly, I can't always tell from the angle that we're looking at, but keeping those sets a little bit off. Phil is a very disciplined and dynamic blocker. He's also high and he presses low and over that net. If you're not giving those sets about 3 feet, if not even more, of spacing from the net, it's very hard to beat them high and over or swinging inside. If they're traveling tighter, you're always working off the hands or moving it in and around that block. I still think Smith and Weber can do this. I think if they play very tight, they've been playing together for a long time at a very high level on the Pro Beach Tour. They still have this in them.
Well, they do have, of the 10 events they played together, they have 8 top 10 finishes. Phil serves a tough one down the line to Smith, and Smith goes off the top of the block. Phil knocks it over, and Weber's waiting there with bated breath, saved by Phil on the block. And Avery able to knock it off the pulling Weber.
That whole series from Avery is incredible. Absolutely brilliant volleyball. Just get a touch on the ball and lift it up. Logan going for the pokey dig, and actually a perfect dig, but I think Hagen thought it was going to travel a bit behind him. Unlucky for them there.
A good service run. Tough serve into the seam, picked up by Smith. And Smith is denied again. The thin beast is making an appearance in a big kind of way here in our second set.
Yeah, again, for me, if Phil's getting a straight down block like that, that set might be traveling or tapering into that block. A bit of a trap set there. The wind is coming from behind and the left side of our screen right now. So that ball is going to blow into Phil's hands. So you really have to make sure that sets off.
Smith, good pass. Great dig by Avery. Knocked over by Phil. Battle of the bigs up top, dug over by Avery. Right pin attack, rolled over the block. Avery there on the pickup. Avery knuckle poke. Smith pops it high. Weber able to put it away.
You can see how exhausted those four are. That was some rally, and they've been having some great plays there. Weather is definitely heating up. 83 degrees now right here in Oak Street Beach. Feeling a lot hotter on the sand. Humidity is at 66%. Winds 7 miles per hour, maybe picking up in small gusts throughout the day. But you can see it's taking a toll on the guys.
That ball was called out as the point goes to Phil and Avery up 17-7. Finally stopping the run is Phil himself with a service error. As Hagen goes back to serve, trailing by 9. See if they change up their strategy, go over towards Avery. Avery looks and shoots down the line. Good pickup by Smith, and riding the cable on the attack is Weber, and it falls out of play.
And it's just not going in the way of Logan and Hagen offensively. Right now they're struggling. They're hitting a 0 offensively, while Dalhausser and Drost are hitting a 6-1-5. So offensively, they're just not putting the ball to the open sand. They're playing great defense. They're getting some good block touches. They're putting pressure on the serve. Offensively, they need to put the ball away.
Weber off the pass, and he swings.
And that's a great start. It just takes one to breed another one. Awesome swing by Logan Weber.
Snapped it by Phil on the block. 9 serving to 18. Avery on the attack, cuts across body, great dig by Hagen, but Phil there to patrol and get that and knock it down.
And again, Hagen's making incredible touches. It's a pity that they cannot convert a dig into a kill, because he's moving, he's on sand patrol back there, he's making good reads, he's making great contacts. They just can't get that transition kill.
Phil back to the service line, 10-point lead. Tight pass, Weber goes over on 2.
Okay, So they changed his strategy. Phil stayed back after he started to play defense and Avery on the block. But if you really saw his passing platforms, Hagen's, it was a perfect setup for Logan. You had to have known that's coming over onto and be ready for it.
Hagen back to serve. Goes right over to Phil. High ball set in the middle, and he knocks it down to bring us to our first match point for Phil and Avery.
Yeah, really nicely executed by Phil, dropping it early. There's nothing you can do. That ball dies faster and drops shorter on the defense, and it moves so fast inside Logan Weber's blocking arms.
Swinging down the corner is Logan Weber. Goes coffin corner on the winner.
There's a nice swing and change of direction by Logan Weber, finding the open half of the court, putting it away.
11 serving to match point number 2. And that serve misses long for point, set, and match as Phil and Avery take our 4th match here in our AVP Chicago Open on court 1. Straight set fashion, identicals at 21-18, 21-11. Megan, thoughts on our matchup here at our 2024 AVP Chicago Open?
I thought set 1 was a great battle. I thought set 2 was going to be a lot closer. Smith and Weber are a very talented team. They're not going to go away, and I expect big things out of this competition for them. But Dalhausser Drost finally, in my opinion, played their career match together. They played very flawless. Avery was all over the passing, just getting digs, contacts up in the air, Phil with his beautiful setting, dynamic blocking, dynamic hitting, termination all around, and they did not make many errors. Congratulations to them as they move on in the bracket.
Bill and Avery hitting 550 for that match, and Avery hitting 14 kills with only 1 error, hitting 591. So we will continue with more plays you see. Coming up next here on court number 1, Jordan Hoppy and David Wyzorek facing off against Andy Benish and Miles Partain. I'm Rob Espero with Megan Bergdorf. We'll be back in approximately 10 minutes. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to hang out with us in the crowd zone. Send your comments. We'll try to respond when and if we can. And appreciate you dialing into our Valley Live presentation of the AVP Chicago Open.